The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, build life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. He's your host.
Hey, Grand Rising to you beautiful people. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street as we bring to you guys the Money and Power Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book that I wrote, guys, is Study of Black Wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way. But if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. That's right, the Black Billionaires Club, a place where you can begin your study of wealthy black people so you can become among them. You can find their book by simply going to the website www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. Pick up your copy today. Today's episode is being brought to you by ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also black art inspired gifts. Here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, you can find all types of cool stuff, your PPE or your personal protective equipment. We do have your CBD products as well. As you move into your electronics with your gummies, we're bringing in the JBL speakers, home decor, bathroom decor, personal care, and all that good stuff as well. And I do want to shout out, guys, because we have a new product that we're adding here, and we are super excited about this product, being the HBCU designer face mask with the filter. So we do know the colleges starting to get back into college, students that get back in school. And so what we're doing here is we're partnering with a black-owned designer, a seamstress, and we're going to do a special program. So as you guys, let us know which colleges you represent. We'll go out, we'll make these masks for your particular college. And then for every mask that is actually being sold, that actually gets sold, 10% of the proceeds will go back to that particular HBCU. So it's a great way to represent your particular brand, your college, or your HBCU, but then also another way to participate in funding those HBCUs as well, because black colleges matter. Everybody put in the console, black colleges matter, because black colleges matter. So if you want to participate in this, or you have a college that you want to recommend, you can put it in the comments below, or also email us or inbox us, or can contact us in some way at ERGJ Black Bazaar as we bring out more of the HBCU masks. So currently we have Howard, Clark, Atlanta. We got 2 FAMUs right now. We brought out Morehouse College, did 3 different designs for Morehouse. We got Southern University, 2 different designs for Southern, Spelman, and then also Miles College got in there some way. And someone asked us about Fisk University as well. But we just basically put a poll out to find out which are the most popular HBCUs to get started, and then we will continue along as the community requests. And so we do want to have representation of all our black colleges, but again, it comes down to support that we get from the community so that we can then do this as well. Because at the end of the day, here's the deal: we want to protect ourselves even when we go back to school, even when we go back to school. But anyway, here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, again, one of our new products that we're featuring to give back to our very own community, which we always do here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace. We want you guys to remember this, that once you shop black, you never go back. Man, check us out at www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. Today, man, let's find out who's here with us this morning. Grand Rising to you here today on the Money and Power Show. And for you guys that want to know what's this show all about, it's those 2 things: money and the power. Money and the power. So we'll be talking about money today, economics, also power, which would be political side of things, which I consider to be cash flow and cash rules. We're waiting to see if we're going to have a guest here today. We did invite a brother here for our Black Man Monday segment. I'm not sure if he's going to be here. If not, we do have something lined up for us here today as well. Let's find out who's here, man. Miss Tequila, Grand Rising to you. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Queen Tequila's in the house. Queen Vivian has joined us here today. King Sydney is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Queen Shanrika is in the house out of North Kakalaki. Queen Jennifer is in the house as well. Black colleges matter. Absolutely. Education matters as well. And so again, I go to the website, go ahead and pick you up a mask, or let all your HBCU grads or alumni, let them know as well, and we get that thing rocking and rolling. We do have about a 2 to 3 week delivery time on them. We want to make an order big enough in the beginning to keep us going. So about 2 to 3 weeks on delivery of those masks, and then again, 10% of the proceeds go back to that respective HBCU. So if you want to advocate for a particular HBCU, make sure you do that at ERGJ Black Bazaar on Facebook, or you can also email us as well. Okay. Grand Rising to you, King Carlton is in the house. King Ryan Great Scott has joined us here this morning, here today on the Money and Power Show. So I am still waiting because we have a guest. We have a guest quite possibly who'll be here. He's having some technical problems every now and then. We have that going on, trying to get our elders to join us. Uncle Frank, hopefully he'll be with us. I sent him a couple of links, so we'll see if he comes on. But until that time, I want to catch up where we were in our political piece. I believe I already have it queued up right here on Black Man Monday. This comes from a Black History Reader, which is a book written by Mr. Dr. Claude Anderson. And Dr. Claude Anderson wrote this book as a political piece, and I believe it's one of his best pieces. He goes into history and he answers 101 questions that we never thought to ask. 101 questions that we never thought to ask is represented in the Black History Reader. So we're going to catch up on question number 24. Then we'll take a look at the market, and this will be our political piece for the day, And here's the question. The question is, why is there such hatred towards Black people? Why is there such hatred towards Black people? The Money and Power Show, a Black History Reader. Let's find out what Dr. Claude Anderson has for us here today. Let's read. He says, undoubtedly, every Black person and many other people in this country and around the world have pondered the question of why there is such hatred towards Black people. Inquiring minds search for satisfying answers. Black people are puzzled, especially even considering what they have done to benefit whites over the centuries without reciprocity. After 460 years of formal slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery, Blacks remain outside and beneath the mainstream society and benefit only incidentally when the general public benefits. 22 generations of Black Americans spent and devoted their entire lives to provide enrichment and comfort to white Americans. Black unpaid labor built government buildings and universities, businesses and factories, roads and bridges and canals. Black maids and servants cleaned their homes, cooked and served their food, and raised white people's children. Though most Blacks were humble and loyal to this nation, they were still lynched, robbed, raped, and castrated by whites who burned down Black towns like Wilmington, North Carolina. I feel like I read this already. 1899, Statesboro, Georgia, 1905, Springfield, Illinois, in 1908, Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1921, and Rosewood, Florida, in 1923. We did read this already. So let me get to question number 25 then, because we read that one already. Yeah, that's from last week. So what is this question? I'm glad I did read that again, though, because I'm supposed to look up those particular cities at some point in time and do a class or a session on all 5 of those. Somebody got to keep me honest, though, because I'll be forgetting. All right, here's question 25. Question 25. All right, so question 25 is, what is the doctrine of unequal exchange, and is it still being applied to the Black race? The doctrine of unequal exchange, and is it still being applied to the Black race? This was a little long, so it's gonna probably be 2 parts. Yeah, it'll probably be 2 parts. All right, let's read up on this. Find out about the doctrine of unequal exchange. Okay, I haven't heard of that before. Anybody heard of that? I haven't heard of it. So the doctrine of unequal exchange is the practice of unbalanced socio-economic trade in which weaker parties foolishly trade or are tricked into trading their valuable goods, services, or properties for money, or items of far less value than what the weaker party is trading. Frequently, the weaker exploited parties receive diminished monetary value or only intangible or symbolic benefits. The exploiting party receives excessive value, thereby creating a balance of trade in favor of the exploiting party. The lack of reciprocity or equality of trade creates unbalanced socio-economic outcomes between the exploiter and the exploited. The concept of unequal exchange as an economic strategy was evolving as the entire European continent was suffering catastrophic conditions. Europe had been in a prolonged period of suffering from famine, diseases, crime, and dire poverty. Traders and explorers were in search of resources in the new world markets. They maximized their economic advantage when they engaged classical African society. The untapped black human gold in Africa and an abundance of free land with minerals in the Americas became high priorities in resuscitating European nations with wealth and power. European slave trade could purchase black human beings in Africa for trinkets, but made huge profits, typically 15,000%, when they resold them as slaves in America. The slave trade and the doctrine of unequal exchange created a balance of trade in favor of European countries, the exploiting parties. It infused capital into European nations and gave them massive wealth. The African continent, with its various tribes, had not yet been divided into different nations by European powers. The entire African continent became an exploited party in an exchange in which human and mineral resources were being traded for cheap trinkets, colored cloth, Bibles, and valueless symbols. The historical consequence of the practice of the doctrine of unequal exchange left the African continent and its black population exploited, impoverished, and powerless even today in the 21st century. After Columbus' so-called discovery of the Americas, European nations began to realize that their socio-economic salvation could be the commercial enslavement of African blacks. They could see that not only were there enormous profits to be raked from the slave trade itself, but huge profits could also be realized from owning and processing the slave-made material goods. Europe was poised for slavery to become the cornerstone for worldwide socio-economic development. A massive number of trading companies emerged with the intent of trading with African native chiefs who would sell members of their own tribes. The African chiefs or tribal potentates who unwittingly engaged in providing the human capital for slave trading were ignorant of the long-range consequences of their acts. They did not foresee the system of physical and psychological exploitation that the European countries were creating around a sense of white communal solidarity and systematic debasement of black people. Black slavery became indispensable and was incorporated into all facets of emerging economies around the world. Religious organizations conjured up theological justification for slavery. Slave trades loaded their boats with Bibles, religious artifacts, cheap consumer goods, and old guns and traded them to Africa for slaves, natural resources, and mineral assets. Records indicate that the worth of one African slave far exceeded the useless items slave traders were dumping into Africa and other international markets. Trade expeditions started out looking for strong black slaves called black gold, but soon expanded to include natural and mineral resources. The massive displacement of human capital and natural resources weakened the ability of black Africans to become self-sufficient and to profit from the economic development of their own African continent. In 1886, the European nations met in Germany, put a map of the African continent on the table and divided it up, with each European nation selecting a region of Africa to colonize and to take control of the people and natural resources. This gang rape of the world's richest continent further divided and crippled the black population. They were forced to accept European cultures and languages imposed upon them by the conquerors. With each unequal exchange transaction, the countries of Africa grew weaker and more dependent. In the 1960s, as the world watched the televised black civil rights movement in America, the European nations ceremoniously officially released their rule over African colonies. However, they installed local African blacks in high public offices to be political figureheads. While cutting the colonial ties gave the appearance of all power and independence had been turned over to Africans, European whites retained ownership of and exploited the continent's massive natural and mineral wealth from behind the scenes. As Asian countries grew stronger economically, they aggressively joined in the rush to control some part of the African wealth. The destruction from the unequal exchange has been cumulative. Once the pattern became entrenched, that Black African nations accepted symbolic payment for their valuable human and natural resources, it was not possible to reverse the effects. Impoverished Black African nations are still forced to surrender their massive natural resources to the world, and in return are granted welfare loans from the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, which they are unable to repay. Clearly, the continuous pattern of unequal exchange has had permanent consequences on Africa. Everybody put in console unequal exchange. Now, it's very interesting here because the very book, the Bible, talks about unequal exchange and how God hates unequal exchange. It talks to things like a usury and stuff like that, man. So this is very interesting. And that's just part one. We'll finish that part tomorrow as we get right back into our political piece, which is 101 questions that you never thought to ask a Black history reader from Dr. Claude Anderson, man. I know there's some pineapple moments going on here today, but we do got our guest on, man. Mr. Franklin Marshall has joined us today. I was wondering, I knew he had some technical problems last time, but brother is in the house. Let me bring him on in here, guys, as we catch up on these comments, man. That's right, unequal exchange. Oh, man, some pineapple moments here today. Let's see if we can bring him in here, man. Let's see what we got here. Brother Frank is in the house, man. What going on, Uncle Frank? Uh-oh. You got to unmute your mic. Did that work? I see the hand going. You're trying to get the mic unmuted.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, you got your Father's Day hat on too, Frank.
Keep trying to tell you, you don't know nothing about me, man.
What's going on, Uncle Frank? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing very well, man. Better than I deserve, man.
Man, thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here today, man. I know you just caught a wind of some things we just read from Dr. Claude Anderson. But before we get into that, some other things here today on Black Man Monday, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who have yet to meet Uncle Frank from Force of One.
Yes, sir, man. Like I said, man, I want to thank you once again, Brother Evan. I want to thank you for the invite, man. Like I said, this several people that's on this broadcast probably much better and got much more knowledge than I am, but you chose me to come on, and I'm very grateful. My hat's off to you, my brother. I really appreciate that. Like I say, man, my name is Franklin Marshall. Some call me Uncle Frank, and some call me Dr. Frank, but I'm not caught up on titles or this and that, just whatever you want to call me, long and respectful. You respect me, and I'm definitely going to respect you. I'm just a little old poor country boy, man, that will grow up in a little small area probably about 8 miles below ATL. Grew up very poor. Grew up in a home without a father, man. And I figured out at an early age that I was going to have to figure some things out for myself, because I realized the importance of life, and I realized I didn't have no one to really show me and point certain things out. So I made a conscious decision when I was a little boy that when I grew up, I'm not going to be poor all my life, because we were very poor and everything, man. There's no fun being poor. It's no fun. You're being denied of so much when you're poor because of it. Not being poor is a choice. I'm reminded of something Mike B. Roberts said when he was growing up. He said, when we grew up, he said, we wasn't poor. He said, we just didn't have no money, because being poor is a mindset. And so everything starts right here, right between your ears, man. It's up to you, regardless whether you move forward, move back. It have a lot to do with the way you think,
Absolutely, Brother Frank, Uncle Frank, Dr. Frank. Frank is in the house, man. Hey, so I got a couple questions for you, because I've seen some progression taking place for you as well. First, let me ask you this, man. As you hear the name of the show, the Money Empowered Show, what do those two words really mean to you? And over time, what have you gained as far as your knowledge and understanding of these two words, especially in the society in which we live, money and the power?
Well, money does give you power, because if you don't have any money, just like I said earlier, Brother Evan, you doesn't have any money, you consider pretty much as a nobody. You know, you got money, man, people pretty much respect you. And so that's why we have to be able to treat money for what it is. Because, man, you got money, so much money does so many things for you. Money have a lot to do with it, give you the power to be able to live pretty much wherever you want to live. Money will give you the power to be able to take some of the luxurious vacation. Money give you money to be able to send your kids to some of the best of school. Money give you access to a lot of places because money, you know, it is power. And so that's why it's so important for you to put yourself in a position to be able to come up with it. And the money, it's no problem really getting money. The problem is keeping money, because that's what one of our problems as a people. We doesn't have any problem even making money. Our problem is keeping it. So that's why we need to learn and realize how powerful money is and do all we can to learn how to grow money. Quit spending money and start learning how to grow money, because when you spend money, you end it. So you're giving your power away when you spend the money, especially to other people. So that's why it's so important. I love what you're doing by how we are trying to bring us together to be able to exchange money with one another, buying black. You know, that gives us power, because if you don't have any money, you consider as a nobody. You know, so money gives you power, man. And like I said, it gives you access to a lot of things you normally wouldn't have access to. And people, and it also, money costs you to have respect. I don't care how messed up your attitude may be, but if you got money, people gonna still pretty much respect you, because everybody trying to get their hand in your pocket, because everybody want a piece of it.
Man, oh man, absolutely, bro. We got some of this man wisdom today. So, brother Frank, you said that you grew up poor, and you know, now you're doing all right for yourself. I know you've been in business for a while. Talk to us a little bit about what you know, some things that happened in your life that caused you to actually learn and grow and become better when it comes to money and power. What are some things that you would recommend for people if they're struggling right now? We understand this, it starts in the mind. What's something that you did to help you overcome poverty?
One thing, Evan, just like I said earlier, man, when I was poor, I was very cognizant and I was very conscious. We was poor, you know, and I knew it was more to life than what I've experienced. And I made a conscious decision then, because that's what life is all about, making a decision in order to move forward, making a decision, then making a commitment, because you got to get committed to it, because you got to get serious about your life. If you don't like where you are, you got to get serious, because that's the problem with so many of us. We don't like our life. We're discontent with our life, but we're not serious enough to really move forward. You got to quit being curious and start getting serious, because some of us, we're curious about being successful, but we're not serious. And why do you say that, Frank? Because you don't spend the time working on yourself. You have to develop yourself in order to move forward. Because when I was small, like I said, I told myself when I grew up, I'm not going to be poor all my life. There's a few things that you have to be able to do. Like one thing, you must believe in yourself. That's very, very cool. You must believe that you can do it. When you believe you can do something, it will happen. Then you just have to put the work in. And then once you believe you can do something, then you got to focus on it. You know, you got to focus, because once you start focusing on something, things start happening just like a magnifying glass. When you focus on something, you can burn a hole right through it. That magnifying glass, that becomes a focus. And you can't be afraid. You got to get rid of the fear, because some people fear success, man. They fear success. So you can't be fearful, because when you start fearing certain things, there's certain things that you're not going to do, and certain things that you're not going to put in place in order to really move forward. So that's two things. And one thing I say, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to start focusing, and you got to get rid of the fear. And then you have to have a drive, man. You have to have a drive. You got to be able and be willing to do the things that are necessary to get you from point A to point B. And it's not that hard. You got to have that whatever it takes attitude, Evan. If that means going out, hiring your coach, getting somebody like you in their life, you know, somebody that can that bend the way, you know, and they're willing to coach them, because having a mentor is very, very, very important. And then on top of that, you have to learn patience. That's one of the biggest problems that we have. Like me, myself, I had a problem with that one point in time too, Brother Evan, of being patient. You got to be patient because things doesn't happen overnight. They happen over time. And so you got to be willing to just do what you want supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, and it will happen. And take advantage of some opportunity because everything's not a scam. Everything not a scam because we look at everything's out of scam and everything. So opportunities is just lurking all around. Opportunities are just like fireworks. You know, when you shoot fireworks, boom, 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 all them different spots, all them opportunities just and you don't have to seize all of them, Evan. All you gotta do is just reach up and just seize just one of those opportunities. One opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, somebody start calling. You know, one opportunity can revolutionize your entire life. So that's where you got to know what it is that you want and be willing to put the work in and do it. And we got to get off that hamster swim, man, off that hamster's wheel. You know, we got to understand that we're human, we're not hamster. We can't just jump on the wheel every day. We need to pause and we need to evaluate and we need to map out a plan for our finance if we really want to move forward.
Absolutely, man. Hey, everybody putting comments. So stop being curious and get serious. Stop being curious and get serious. Get serious, man. Get serious about your future. Get serious about your life. Get serious about your finances. Get serious about your legacy. Stop being curious about it. Get serious. What's going on with your Queen Yolanda's in the house, man? Thanks so much. YKJ is in the house. King Antoine Lowry is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Money and Power Show. So, Brother Frank, you got the Force of One that you've been running. How long have you been running that organization? What brought about the idea? What's the mission there with the Force of One?
Well, the Force of One, Brother Evan, we've been up and running now for about 8 years now. And so what brought it about, because like I was saying earlier, I grew up as a little boy. I grew up very poor. And I was pretty much looked over, you know, when you're a little boy, like I said, you consider pretty much as a nobody. And, you know, and I made a decision, I'm not going to be like this all my life. I prayed to God when I was a little boy to put me in a position to be able to help people, you know, and not look down on, I mean, actually help people, you know, and be authentic about it. Because it's not just about trying to get money from all the time. Because my wife just gets on to me all the time before she passed. She tell me, Frank, she said, why do you always have to spend all the money on this organization? Why do other guys don't help you? I said, well, sweetheart, I said, it's like this. I said, God gave me the vision. He didn't give it to them. I said, they do help out here and there, but, you know, not to the extent that I do because I'm not looking for them to because it's my vision. And so I started because I wanted to get men to take their rightful place because, as you know, so many of men is not in position to really move forward. There are many men, you got men in their 30s, 40s, and 50, Evan, can't even write a $200 check. Maybe that may be too little extent. I can't even write a $100 check. And that's sad. You in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, what you been doing all your life? So that's what I want to be able to put in position, come up with a program to be able to help men, you know, to start being more cognizant of how important money and stuff, you know, let them know that you too can be successful. It's a mindset, because if you don't like where you are in life, you change your thinking, because everything starts right here. If your thinking change, so will your life. And so that's what, and we have the father and son red tie luncheon every year. And our mission is to be able to raise the consciousness of men, the importance of money, the finance, and the importance of, you know, developing your young man, developing your child. Because we just coming off this past week, we just had our father and son red tie lunch. You know, we have a father and son red tie luncheon once a year. This was our 8th one. And so last year I had said we were going to do something different this year. And lo and behold, I didn't have no idea if we were going to wind up having to do it virtually. You know, this year we had to do it virtually. And it turned out real good. And every day from Monday through Friday, we brought 2 or 3 different fathers and their sons on. And we just had a conversation about the importance of fatherhood. And it turned out real well. That's our mission, to be able to raise the consciousness of our men so we can get out of the situation that we're in. and start being more of a forward thinker opposed to just, sitting back complaining all the time. Because we have to learn how to stop comparing, competing, and complaining, because that holds you back more than anything is complaining. So we got to get away from that if we really want to move forward. So that's one reason we started the Force of One, to raise the consciousness of our men, and so they can take their rightful place.
Man, that's absolutely awesome, man. So you were able to, you said last year, you said, man, we're going to do something different in 2000. and then God made sure that he held you to it, huh? So, yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why I always say too, Evan, the words have power too. You got to be careful the words that come out your mouth. Because, we employ our words. Whenever you throw something out, it goes and works on your behalf. So you got to choose your word wisely, man. You got to be careful what you throw out into the ether. So you got to be very careful, because it make provision for you. And like I said, but it turned out very good, because I was and we was intended to have an event in the park this year and make it more fun and we were going to have a pro football player to come and be able to throw some passes to some of the younger guys. That was our intent, but God had other plans for us. But it turned out well, though.
Absolutely. Well. Red Tyler, right on Father's Day weekend, great time to have it as well. And you said you had some fathers and sons come on all week leading up to, I guess, this weekend. That's pretty cool. Did y'all?
Yes,
where did y'all have? Were just like some virtual Zoom meetings or something like that?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it was. And we had Chico Cool and his sons came on, and we had Willie Jolly and his son came on.
Willie Jolly, is that the motivational speaker?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we had Willie Jolly, we had Brother Joe Dudley,
Joe Dudley from the
Hair Product.
I need to get in touch with him. We want to sell some of his products, man.
Okay, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, Joe Dudley. That, man, hey, I don't think people may not know. Hold on. Tell us. No. Tell us a little bit about these men, because I don't think that people may necessarily know who we're talking about here. So, who is Chief Akua, man? What has he done? What has he done for the community?
Chico Akua, man, he's a brother, man. He stays right here in Atlanta. Chico Akua, Google Chico, Chike Akua, Akua, Chico Akua, and Akua stand for messenger. Chico Akua, he's a guy, man. He used to be a school teacher, but now he's a motivator speaker and a trainer and this and that, man. He takes a lot of kids over into Egypt and everything and explain the pyramid and all about the ideology. He be real big on the ideology. I may be murdering the word, because I'll murder a word in a minute. The ideology and everything. He real big on that. He takes a lot of kids over into Egypt every year and explain and talk to them about it. That's somebody you might want to get on your broadcast some morning too. Chico ain't no joke, man. Chico ain't no joke.
I want to do all three of them. We got okay. And Willie Jolly, in case you don't know who Willie Jolly is, of course, I know he rolls with Les Brown, and I see him a lot with these speaker conferences. You tell us a little bit about Brother Jolly.
Willie Jolly, he's a motivated speaker and he's a trainer as well. And he's an awesome guy, man. He's a singer, and he has a radio host now. He one that wrote that book. I don't know if you ever heard the book. A setback is a setup for a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote that book. A setup is a setback for a comeback, and that's one of his main big books. And he got several different books. And he got a box that he sell called a Jolly Box. And I bought that box, man. It has several different books and training stuff in it and everything. Willie Jolly, he ain't no joke. He's right there with Les Brown.
I heard him like 2 years ago. I was at a conference. I was like, oh, okay, that's Willie Jolly. What about Joe Dudley? I mean, Mr. Dudley, the Dudley brothers.
Mr. Dudley, he's the one that had that hair product and stuff. I don't know if anyone ever back in the day, back in my day when we come, if anyone on about my age, Joe Dudley one that had that. He wanted to make that Murray grease. That Murray grease we used to rub it and put it on our head and bring them waves and that make people seasick. He wanted to make that great. He was the compeller of the Bronner brothers. Everybody know who the Bronner brothers are. That was their competition pretty much. And Joe Dudley, he was right there along with with F.L. Fuller. You know, he was trained by F.L. Fuller, and that's somebody too that you might want to be able to Google and learn a little bit more about. F.B. Fuller, you know, because F.B. Fuller.
Fuller, absolutely. But brother Joe Dudley, don't they have some type of institute or something like that?
Yeah, they help college students and all this and that. You know, pay people tuition, send them to college and all that. Yeah, they have an institution.
Man, yeah, okay. And who else you had on your? You didn't tell me about all this going on this week, brother. You were busy.
Oh, really? Okay, I apologize. I apologize.
No problem. What else you had going on this week? Who else showed up for your father's son?
Well, some of the other ones you might don't really know because they weren't no big name brand. But you might do you know Larry Jemison?
Of course, I know Mr. Jemison, man.
Okay. That's right. You're right. Yeah. We had Larry and his dad. They was on, and also we had this guy named Velton Shower. He was on. He's out of Florida.
Mr. Savall, he just did something with the Black CEO.
Yeah, with the real men. Yeah,
real men speak. Okay.
Yeah, real men speak. Yeah, he part of that. Yeah.
Wow.
We had another friend of mine that grew up with me named Terry Beaver. Him and his son, and his son is somewhat like a journalist now. His son is, and also we had a dude named Corey Smith. He was on, and we had a Reverend Harb, Alvin Harb. He goes to church with me. Reverend Harb. He has an ice sculpture. He's the only black man that have an ice sculpture that carve ice. Make certain you never did come to one of my events. Every year he would always donate. He always carved this ice sculpture into Force of One. Man, Force of One ice sculpture, and he do an outstanding job, man. He does all that out of ice. He the only black man that have an ice sculpture in the world. And he says it's another one dark-skinned guy that looked like him, but he's a different descent. And that has one. It's only two dark-skinned people that have an ice sculpture business in the world. I mean, it's outstanding. He right here in Atlanta as well, man. It's awesome, man, to be able just to it sometimes, just see how that operate. Real good brother, man. Real down to earth.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Definitely love to bring some of the brothers on the show, man, and let some other people get a chance to experience them, man. Absolutely. And yes, Miss Vivian Dudley Products. That's what we're talking about. Mr. Brother Joe Dudley from Dudley Products. Absolutely, you guys remember some of them as well. So man, Uncle Frank, man, you they be sleeping on you, Uncle Frank. You kind of the silent whisperer, man. Everybody knows Uncle Frank, man. So how do you? I mean, over the years, obviously, you've been in a lot of different circles, and you've done a lot for the community. How did you find yourself in these different circles? You know what I mean? Because I met you through. No, not through Sir. I met you first through Trevor Otts.
Okay.
Thing, and then I saw you again at the chess thing. Remember at the chess thing from I forgot his name. It was a chess. Oren. And then Sir knew you as well. So tell us a little about your journey into these different circles and how you get a chance to make these relationships at the end of the day.
Because one thing, man, is if you want to be able to meet quality people, you have to go where they are, because they're not coming to where you are. And just like what really got me started, George Frazier, that's my mentor there, that's my boy there. And he came to our church, I said about 15 years ago. And I'd never been to a conference or anything in my life at that point. When George came to our conference, he was having this conference in Cleveland, Ohio, and he spoke on it, and he was saying, like if you want to meet quality people, he said you have to go where they are because they're not coming to where you are. And he said it's not that they don't want to use you in their business. He said they just don't know who you are. And so he said what I do, he said every year I bring all of these different millionaires and billionaires, I bring them together in one space, and it's up to you. I get them together, and it's up to you to build a relationship with them. And so then I told my wife, after he finished, man, I told my wife, I said, we going to that conference this year. And so we went, my wife and I, we got us a ticket. We flew to Cleveland, Ohio, went to that conference. That was the very first conference I ever been to in my life. When I went there, man, I said, wow, I done find my tribe. And I knew this way I was supposed to be, man. You know, just meeting all those quality people and hearing some of their stories, where they came from and how they overcame and all this and that. Cause that tell you right there, everything is a mindset. So you have to develop your mind, because everything starts right here. You have to know what it is that you want, and then you got to move in that direction. You got to make, and what's very, very key too, Evan, you got to make sure the tongue in your mouth are lining up with the tongue in your shoe, because so many people, they saying one thing but they doing something else. So you got to make sure the tongue in your mouth lining up with the tongue in your shoe. So whatever you speaking, you got to make sure you're moving in that direction, and it will happen. Just like I said earlier, it don't happen overnight, but it will happen over time. So when I got there, got to start meeting them people, and you always in there. I tell people all the time, they say, Frank, how you know so many people, man? You know everybody in the world, don't you? Even Willie Jolly said that, Frank, you know everybody, don't you? And I said, no, Willie, I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of people. I don't know everybody. I said, when you go into a conference, what you do, you get the itinerary. Then you look over that itinerary, Evan, and you choose at least about 3 peoples off that itinerary that you want to be able to meet. And then what you do, Evan, you take and you Google them and you learn something about them, their background and all this and that. And then when you get to the conference, you see them, you go up and start talking to them, and you start telling them about themselves and tell them things that you like and things you all have in common and all this and that. And they right away, they'll gravitate to you a lot of time, because they don't feel like you took the time to Google me. I must be important to you. You took the time to Google me. You know all that about me without me. Because, people love to hear about themselves. People love that. And so right away, they will click with you. Then I ask them a lot of times, I asked them, I said, hey, man, I said, can I get your cell number? I said, can I get your number? And they'll start giving it to me. I said, well, this your cell number? I said, I want your cell number. And they'll look, some of them will look at me kind of funny. Then they'll go ahead and give it to me. I said, you ain't got to worry about me calling you just every 5 minutes. I'm not one of them kind. I got sense, And so the majority of them will give it to you, man. You'll be surprised. A lot of times we don't ask people for a cell number a lot of times, because we feel like we already done put them over us. And we all on the same playing field. Nobody over you unless you put them over, because everything is a mindset, man. And so that's how I do. Just go up to them, to go to that itinerary and pick at least three people, because going to be so many people there. And so you got to be able to have an agenda when you're going to places like that. You got to have an agenda. And that's why I say you pick 3 people out and focus on those 3 people. You may be able to do more, but make sure you focus on those 3 people. That's just like Mike V. Robert, for instance. I know you probably know Mike V. Robert. He's a billionaire. He's a hotel owner, and he got a place over there in Bahamas. Now I've been to his place. To every year he invite me to his New Year Eve party, and I've been over there at least twice to his New Year Eve party. I didn't go last year, but the previous 2 years I went, and be surprised some of the quality people that you meet in those kind of places. I ran up on Bishop Brown over there one year. Bishop was shocked to see me, and I was shocked to see him. That's my pastor,
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I want to make sure people grab some of this stuff, because it's a lot of wisdom to be garnered. And firstly, one of the things you said is, if you want to meet quality people, you got to go to where they are, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think oftentimes, as you said, we may in our mind think we don't belong, or it's too expensive, or that's not for me, or all these different self-limiting beliefs that we may have, due to low self-esteem or whatever the case may be. But when you start saying that you do belong, everybody put in console, I belong. Once you start saying that you do belong, then you start to build some confidence in the way in which you approach people. And then you gave us a strategy as well. You said, hey, man, I went to this conference. And I'm pretty sure this conference, because I've been to the Power Network conference in Dallas. And I know how many people and events and different rooms and stuff that you gotta map that thing out. But you had a plan, right? You put a plan together, and then you broke that plan down. Said, okay, here's the different spaces. At least I'm gonna go and try to make these connections. You did some research as well, so that you came armed with information, and that goes a long way. I mean, because they're gonna meet a whole bunch of people over that 3-day weekend, 5-day week, or whatever the case may be. but it's the people that do the research that can actually stand out from the crowd that can really make that difference and make that connection. I was able to make a few connections, but I never thought about it. I never thought about that. Like, let me break this thing down. I already know who's gonna be there. Let me go ahead and do some research on these folks. That is absolutely a simple strategy to employ, not just at a power networking conference, but anywhere.
Absolutely.
Right? Anywhere. Do your research first. Do your research first, so you are armed with information. Man, brother Frank, man. Go ahead.
I was this one particular guy. I don't know if you guys remember him or not. He used to be on with Al Roker. It was this black. He was the first black anchor man. His name was John Ray. John Ray. He's up there. Him and Joe Dudley, real good buddies, and Dr. Jackie Mayfield, and all them real good partners. That
I know Mr. Mayfield too.
Huh?
I know Mr. Mayfield too.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
yeah, that's a good friend of mine. One of my mentors as well. He had the largest black tax consultant in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's I every morning, man, I had this tape on Dr. John Ray. I got it from what's the name? I can't think his name right now. Anyway, I bought the tape from them, and I used to sit there and I used to watch that tape every morning on Dr. John Ray. Man, he had me cracking up. John, he real hilarious, and he real smart. And I said that every morning, man. I'll sit there and watch that tape every morning. So now I said, man, I want to meet that guy. I got to meet that guy. And so when I told Jackie Mayfield, I said, I want to meet Dr. Ray. He said, man, bro, Frank, he said, we'll make that happen. He said, because I'm having, in Beaumont, Texas, he said, I'm having an event next month. He said, come to the event. I said, okay, I'll be there, Doc. And so when I jumped on a plane, I went to Beaumont, Texas. And man, I was sitting in the room and everything. I kept looking around. I never did see John Ray. And later on, I seen Dr. John Ray and his wife come walking in the room, man. I jumped sky high. I said, wow, there he is. So I didn't just run up to him, anything, just stick a card, anything in his face and this and that. I just run up there, I talk to him. I just sit back and I just watched him. And so him and his wife, they sit at the table. Then later on, his wife got up and she went somewhere. I know she went to the bathroom somewhere. When she got up, that was an opportunity. When she got up, I got up. And I went over because I didn't want to just intrude on him, got to be respectful. So I went over to him and I said, hey, Dr. Ray, I extended my hand and shaking him. I said, hey, Dr. Ray, I said, I just want to just come up and introduce myself to you. I said, I've been following you for quite some time, man. I said, I just love your spirit. And he said, sit down. I said, no, sir. I said, no, I'm fine. I said, I don't want to trouble you. No, bro. No, brother. You're not troubling me. Sit down. And so I sit down and got to talking. I told him, just like I was telling you, I told him everything it was about him. And man, he was just in awe. He was flattered, boy. And then so that night, once he got up to speak, he got up on the stage. He said, yeah, this young man, he said, came up to me. He told me everything that was about me. He said he had been watching my stuff and everything. And he definitely been watching him. And he said, where you at? He said, where are you? He said, Dad, he said, Uncle Frank. He said, stand up. So they had me to stand up. Then, and he acknowledged me. And just went from there. We've been having a relationship ever since. And that been somewhat about 8-9 years ago now. Maybe about 10 years, I would say. About 10 years ago now. Mm-hmm. Awesome, bro. The first black anchor man.
Man, Uncle Frank is just a commodity up in here, man. Uncle Frank, I'm gonna do like you did Jackie Mayfield, man. I want to get the first one. I wanted Joe Dudley. I want to get Joe Dudley on the show, and it's so fantastic that we now have this thing called the internet that he ain't got to go nowhere. So I'm gonna lean on Frank to make that happen because, of course, you may know we do have a distribution network, and I'm sure there are some people we want to push Black-owned products. If that's a product that's still out there that we can put, we want to do it. And so I definitely love to talk to Brother Dudley and see what's going on and see how we can support, continue to support everything that he's doing to make a difference. Here's my question for you, Brother Frank, is with all of these, powerful people in our community, but the lack, it seems like there's a gap between the power pieces and the pieces that we know, as in maybe you connect the our common population versus the movers and shakers. What do you think that big difference is, man? Because there's some, as I said, there's some people that we're probably listing now who are just unknown to the common Black man or woman, but they actually are power pieces in our community.
Well, because that one thing, like a lot of people just don't like being in the spotlight. Cause like me myself, I don't really like being in the spotlight. Cause like I said, when I first got on this call just a minute ago, man, much as I be on it, I'm nervous at all I do. I'm not the kind of person that want to just be seen all the time. Just now, I like being behind the scenes. Cause at one point in time, like with the Force of One, I wanted my co-founder to do most of the speaking. They said, no, people need to hear from you. You need to be up front, And so I'm like I said, because I'm a very shy type guy. I grew up very shy. And so that's why you just got to just seek them out. Because the difference between why they are not out there, because they're not trying to make no name for themselves. They're not trying to make no name for themselves. They kind of love keeping a low profile. And like me myself, I'm not out here trying to make no name. I'm trying to poke my chest out and I'm this and that. And so many do. Just like Mike B. Roberts said, he said, rich people scream and wealthy people whispers. And so that's different a lot of times. They just don't throw themselves out there in the public as much.
Man, rich people.
I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Yeah, it does. Rich people scream, wealthy people whisper. Rich people scream, wealthy people whisper. Man, they're talking about always making a lot of noise. I know. And Mike V. Roberts as well, man. We got to get him on the hotel. Oh my goodness, Frank. I'm gonna be blowing your phone up, Frank. I'm gonna be like, Frank, hey.
You a partner, man. What I can do, man, I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. Whatever I can do to make your show a success, when it's already a success, to make it even better, I'm here. All you gotta do is just call me. Just phone call away.
Here's another quick question for you, because I seen you've been making some moves as well. I believe with your kids, grandkids, or brothers around from the community in this e-commerce space, man. Talk to us a little bit about some things that you're doing there, what you're seeing. I believe you got a site up now as well, or you're working on one. Talk us a little bit about your interest and your understanding and your vision for what we're doing in this whole e-commerce space.
Well, my very first thing right now, and I talk to other people about it too. But right now, I'm working on my kid, not my kid, my grandkids. I have 9 grandkids, and every Thursday, my grandkids and I have them to call in on my comfort line, and I just pour into them, the lessons and everything that I have learned over years. Like I said, the things that I always have wanted when I was a kid growing up that I didn't have. I'm going to make sure I supply that for my kids and my grandkids, especially my grandkids now, because my kids, they all grown and gone. But I'm working on my grandkids now. And so we're working on them. Our website is the name of it is All My Grandkids. That's the type. That's the name of it. And so make sure they have that up and running. And plus they have their own identity, their own personality, things they want to do. So we're going to make sure all of that right there come into fruition as well. So that's my vision. That's my dream for my family. So God, I said, once I leave here, I want all of my children, my grandkids especially, to be millionaires. I don't want them to have to ever struggle and suffer. And I talk to them about being a job maker and not a job taker. Because I talk to them all the time about how important it is, Evan, to get on the other side of the cash register. Don't stop being consumption, stop being consumers, and be a producer. So that's what I talk to them. I drill that in them at an early age, man. And then when I'm talking to them, I make sure they got pen and paper out, and so they can take notes. Because I let them know how important taking notes is, because you can't remember everything that I tell you. So note takers are money makers, as we all know. Because if you lose the lesson, I can teach you a lesson, and if you lose it, you won't be blessed behind it. Because you lose the lesson, you'll lose the blessing. So you got to be able to hold on to the lesson so you can be blessed from it. So that's why it's so important. You have to capture the moment. You have to write it down. That's why I say a short pencil better than a long memory. So that's why I have them to let them know how important taking notes here. Like I tell them, I say, everywhere you go, always keep a pen and paper with you at all time. Because anytime when you out and about, you're going to always be talking to somebody, and they're going to say something that's very profound. And so that's when you grab it and you jot it down. Don't miss the moment, because that one thing that you just learned could revolutionize your life. You never know when you may have to pull from that. And because God got all kind of ways of blessing us. And so that's why we have to always be on the problem. We got to always be out there with our ears open, our eyes open, and our tail wagging, seeking out great information, something to be able to apply to our life. And so those are some of the things that I talk to my grandkid about, not only my grandkid, my group, and everybody. It's very, very important.
Man, absolutely, Uncle Frank, man. I know I can sit here and talk to you for ages, man. We got to start to wrap this show up, man. Guys, in the comments below, I'd love for you to share something that you learned today, some moment of reflection, some piece of wisdom that you're taking today. Because as he said, man, a short pencil is much greater than a long memory. So what are you going to remember about today's presentation? What are you going to remember about today's episode of the Money and Power Show? As we've had wisdom come speak to us today in the form of Uncle Frank, and he had a message to share. Want to know what piece of the message you really grabbed? Put that in the comments below. I'm simply asking you to answer this question that we always ask, right? Was this worth your time, and why? You could have been anywhere this morning, but you decided to show up today for the Money and Power Show, and our goal is to make sure that you got great value out of it. Was this worth your time, and why? And as they do that, Uncle Frank, I know we talk much faster than they type, man. I'll give you a few moments for your last words for the peeps here today on the Money and Power Show.
One thing I would just like to say, a lot of times, Brother Evan, like wherever you are in life, be there. Learn how to be in the moment. And if you don't like where you are, quit asking the question, why? Why am I here? Why I keep getting what I'm getting? Why things don't never go right? You're asking the wrong question. Quit asking the why question and start asking the what question. What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to get from point A to point B? What, and who, and also you can ask the who question. Who do I need to incorporate into my life, and who do I need to remove out of my life in order for me to get to where I really want to be? And so those very important. And so that's why it's so important to know who you are. When you know who you are, you don't spend a whole lot of time wasting on that why question. You spend more time on that what question. What can I do to improve myself? Because everything, like I said earlier, I cannot emphasize that enough how important everything is right here, how important it is to develop your mind. Because this right here will cause you to move forward, or it cause you to move backward. So we got to learn how to be forward thinkers, man. We got to develop ourselves, and we got to get our finance and everything up in order. And man. So money gives you margin. Money gives you margin, and money get you got money in the bank that gives you margin. You can that helps you to think more clearly, and money helps you make better decisions. And when you got money, you make decisions. You don't make them out of fear. It makes all the difference in the world. So we got to be able to get our finance in order. So we got to quit asking the why question. Why am I where I am? And start asking the what question. What can I do? And who can I bring into my life, and who do I need to exit out of my life in order for me to really move forward?
Absolutely, man. Catch up in the comment. Brother Ryan Great Scott said, man, make sure the tongue in your mouth lines up with the tongue on your shoes, man. You got a lot of great quotes coming from you, Brother Frank. Queen Vivian said, man, in order to achieve success, we must have mentors and make moves towards quality people. Queen Sharik said, well worth it. I learned about some powerful people and a great strategy to get to meet powerful people. Absolutely. Loki clicks on. Stop asking why. Start asking what can I do to get where I need to be, man. This has been a wonderful time here today, Uncle Frank. We got be forward thinkers and make better decisions. Here today on the Money and Power Show, man. We do this each and every day, weekdays. I'm sorry, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow we'll be getting right back into our good book, The Richest Man in Babylon. We're talking about meeting the goddess of good luck. So looking forward to doing that as well. Brother Frank, I want to say, man, thanks so much for being with us here today. I definitely got to connect with you, see what we do about making these other connections. I got a couple of those connections as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young buck coming up in the ranks. Coming up in the ranks, man. So I look forward to continue to build with you as well, man. Last time we met, there was this book we talked about, Brother Frank. Where are we with your book?
Okay, that's right. I just spoke to the young lady the other day, that getting it, because it was a few errors and things in the book. I think I spoke to you about it. And so she corrected it. She had an incident, she said, and so it kind of threw her behind. And she said, and I guarantee you, she said, I promise you we'll have your books and everything to you before the end of this month, she said. So
Okay.
I promise you. And so
all right. So
that's where we are with that. And I appreciate you.
Not a problem. So those that if you were into this last time Frank came on, I still got your inboxes and stuff. I'll make sure we move forward with you guys and get you Brother Frank's book as he does the list of revisions in the book. We should have that early July. Okay, early July. Chris Hill said, "Wealth and knowledge, great connect. Keep doing what you're doing, Uncle Frank. More people could benefit from being
Thank
you. Absolutely, man." Well, beautiful people, I want to say thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. Hopefully you guys got a good time. We're ready to wrap the show up. I'm your host, ERGJ. Again, check out ERGJ Black Bazaar for your Afrocentric Marketplace. HBCU mask are out there. If you are interested in joining us in BBC, make sure you go to that website, theblackbillionairesclub.com. Check us out there and join us. Tonight is our Manifestation Monday. We'll be talking about the power to create wealth tonight in the BBC. So looking forward to having that conversation with you guys here tonight. Hey, man, I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. A matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God that that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. It's time to get up, get out, and go get something. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there in the next episode of